Hello. So I'm planning to do track guides for all the tracks in the upcoming team tournament, and I'm going to start with the TmT-Forgotten Past by Reveal of Win. The world record here is 40.14 by Druid Socrates, and my best time is 40.18, so I'm 400s behind. But I still think it's good enough to show off some tips and tricks that may help you drive faster. Alright, so let's start then. So here's my replay. I'm first going to go through the track slowly for each corner, and then after that I will also run the replay in normal speed as well. Alright, so let's start then. Here's the first turn. Just try to go a bit to the left here in this turn because of the upcoming turn here. So the reason why is that you want to take as short of a line as possible for this turn. Otherwise you will go too wide here and you will have a very long line and lose a lot of time because of that. So make sure that you take as short of a line as possible. Alright, here's a pretty long drift to the right, a bit of an uphill. Try to minimize your drifting as much as possible here and go as close to the wall as possible as well. I didn't do it perfectly here, lost some time, but still decent enough. I kept my speed pretty good. So it's a pretty long stretch here afterwards actually, so that's why. Alright, so here's a loop part that you're just gonna go past, not gonna drive over it. And there's a small bit here that you want to avoid hitting. So, but you also want to go as close as possible to it as well for a short line, of course. So yeah, just try to do that. That was pretty good by me, I think. So I kept my speed here pretty well. Here's a grass part, and over this grass part, you want to actually release your analog stick, or if you're driving with keyboard, just drive straight forward for a bit when you drive over the grass. The reason why is that if you turn while driving over, you will have a drift over this blue part here, and that's going to make you lose some speed. So you want to make sure that you drive straight over the grass to maintain that speed. And also the same for the upcoming grass here, although you do have to turn a bit because there's a drift after here. So just a transition, so you want to wait with the drift a bit, and then just try to maintain as much speed as possible through this turn as well, as it is a pretty long stretch here. I could have kept my speed slightly better here, so lost some additional time. Alright, so we go down here now, one break here, and then another one, so I just extend my drift here, maintain my drift, and for the upcoming turn, make sure that you go for a bit of a wider line here, because there's a bit of a hill here that if you drive over it, you will land into a drift and lose some time. So you want to minimize your drifting as much as possible in this turn, and just keep your speed. Alright, so this turn here, I went for a very short line here, which is pretty risky, and then I just drove over the border. If you want to do it safe, you can just go for a wider line instead, and maybe drift a bit more. That's going to be a bit slower, but much safer, because driving over this border is extremely risky. But luckily, I didn't screw up, so I saved some time here, caught up on the world record actually, a couple of hundreds. So after this is a long stretch, and coming up here is a grass part and then a transition. And here you can also get something called a slowdown, which basically means that you're in the wrong gear for the turn, and that will make you drop down in speed quite a lot. So to avoid that, what I do is that I just tap the gas once or twice, so that I release my acceleration a bit and I go down in speed slightly. So by doing that, I will keep myself in the gear and keep my speed better. So just make sure you do that around here. And then coming up the transition here, you want to make sure that you land in such a way that you don't have to drift them out. As you can see, I just pressed brake very quickly and didn't have to really slow down my speed that much, and still had a pretty good drift. So that's very important as well, to maintain your speed here for the turn. And then again we drive over the grass, and here's a quarter pipe that you want to make sure to not drive too close to, because that's going to make you come into a drift, and that will make you lose time. So you can drive over it with your two wheels here, but not these two wheels, I'd say. So yeah, just maintain your speed as much as possible. And here is the ending. up on a platform, and a pretty difficult turn, I'd say, because you're pretty blind here, so it can be hard to do this turn well. I went very close to the wall here, actually saved some time also against the world record here. The world record actually goes for a wider line, goes for more speed, so it goes here instead, so it has more speed. But I go for a shorter line instead with not as much speed, and I actually caught up sometimes, so I think it's better to go for that shorter line. And then it's just a small jump here into the finish. So yeah, I hope this could help you drive faster, Sean, and thanks for watching. Now I'm going to run the replay in full speed as well.